Hello everyone, back with another stream. Today I'm just gonna do a small project right here. Uh, Here's my inspiration with this PureRef app that I used for taking reference. But yeah, let's get started. Let's see how much I can do in just an hour. Alright, so pull back the sleeves. Okay, so let's add a plane. I want to kind of create like this tall sort of, like none of these have like this tall Gothic house style, but I want to do something kind of, taking the textures and sort of individual items ideas from this and going to here. So I'm going to start by doing the biggest part, which is just the foundation of gingerbread. Um, yeah, so let's block out the whole shape. I'm not totally paying attention to scale here. Of course, it would be the scale of a small gingerbread house in this case. Wait, so let's extrude it. U1 up 1. Let's repeat that 3 times with Shift R. Oh, and I'm sorry. Let me turn on my screencast key so you can see my shortcuts, and I'll have to move my reference over there so you can see that. And now with my face, the reference and the mouse is kind of covered down there. But yeah, oh well. Yeah, kind of the cool thing about this is there's like these angles. I'm not sure exactly how you would do that with gingerbread though, so I have to make something work. Realize I don't have like a lengthwise version of the house, which would be helpful. I mean, I could just I'm going to be focusing mostly on the entrance, but we can move that 2 back. So GX2 G moves it, and then X means along the y-axis, and then down 2 units. So yeah. So we have this balcony here, like steps. So it's just gonna insert a loop there and copy this so that's a separate object. So that's why I did Shift D and then extrude out by 1, and let's extrude it by 0.5 so that this is a nice square, because this is only up by 0.5 since this loop is right down the middle. And extrude that up by 1, so that's how I know that. But actually, this area should be the balcony, so I'll extrude that here, and then extrude this again by 0.5. And yeah, for the steps, we can just bevel it and use that new custom profile down here. And yeah, by using steps, and then we need to increase the segments, otherwise nothing's going to show up there. And it's not really going to line up unless we could add just the right amount of segments, but we'd be, sloppy about that, and delete, and then limited dissolve down here, or delete key L or Control X. And yeah, and this isn't ideal topology. This is a big n-gon, which, it looks smooth here, but this is what's actually going on, is it's all triangulated. But I like how that's organized there when it triangulated it. Not a huge problem is if it's a flat surface, it's not so bad. But who knows? Maybe we'll end up kind of messing with stuff, trying to make it look a lot smoother. For the railings, I think I'll make that like a candy cane or something. I think that'd be kind of cool. And then right here, this entrance is kind of like a front section to this back. So I want this, yeah, to be a little ahead of this side. So I'm gonna add another loop here. It's a little messy here having those loops so close together, but I'll just shift this back. Oh yeah, and this is yeah. Yeah. This is kind of messy for topology, but I can just to get the right shape, and then I can correct these loops later. But extrude manifold will work well for this because we can just pull this back. No, it doesn't work so well. Why? Oh yeah, then the Y key to make sure it goes along normals, and 0.5 to bring it back. Oh, and actually, let me take a look at the chat. Goofy King, this is North Pole. Kind of, yeah. Yeah. It's just a little Christmas themed modeling here. But yeah, I'm in the Midwest, so yeah, kind of mess things up. Don't usually use that, but that's kind of a quick way to do that. That's a new version of extrude. But yeah, but we can bring this out. And let's select all this, GZ 0.5, just to give that a nice row. I think we want this to be a two-story building. This is a pretty big building. It's kind of funny, all of these are like really modest. And then I'm like, no, let's make it like a big, scary Gothic building. But I don't know. Once we get the materials in, I think it'll be a lot better. You know, I think there's too many steps right here. I mean, maybe it's be better to keep it more simple. So let's just delete some of these. Let's go to vertex mode, top view, and then I'm just going to scale it to the ground. I think we want, yeah, I don't want to delete these as well. Just want to make sure I'm getting the right number of steps, so we can just simply double it. Shift X will scale along that, but we want to scale from that normal, so I'm changing this to 3D cursor, S, Shift X 2. So that, yeah, that fits it perfectly, and that just kind of simplifies it a bit. Like, you don't need so many steps. I mean, yeah, there's a lot more on here, but this isn't a scale, and we want to keep, I think the shape's big, we'll give it more of a gingerbread style feel. So yeah, and we're missing geometry over here, but we can, it's okay, so we can just extrude, and then fill that. Alt-Z, X-ray view, you can see what's going on there. And we don't really need this big part on the bottom, so let's just delete that. So after all that, we've got this shape. We can, start going into shading this gingerbread, kind of figure out what that looks like. I'm thinking, yeah, kind of crumbly, kind of. Like so. So I think if I use this Voronoi and some noise, just to sort of make it a little more interesting. So if I use object coordinates with this, CM, and then yeah, and if it changes to linear light, yeah, it gives it this kind of interesting distortion. Doesn't need to be that strong, but we could increase the scale to make it quite a bit rougher. And then you can take a look at the effect it has on this, with this color ramp right here. Yeah, we want this to be nice and subtle, so we can bring this out quite a bit, and put some lights in there so we can see what we're doing. So let's use a point light for now. We're gonna So Shift A to add, and then the light menu, and then the point light. So let's adjust that in these properties. So let's try 100, and let's try 400. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, this isn't the final texture for this. Let's actually increase that. Yeah, I actually like that. And then, you know, it's kind of porous, but sometimes it's more visible than other times. You see that on the edge here, but it's going to be smoothed out. So actually, this is a nice image for reference. There's kind of like these little specks. Yeah, that's better. And not as dense, so decrease the scale right here. And then we could add more variation on top of that. Each cell with another linear light using the color output. But yeah, see, that's color, which is pretty extreme. So we could run it through another color ramp to sort of control how random that is. Just reassign some of these values. And we can make it a lot bigger. It's looking kind of powdery now, but you know, I think that's a bit much. It's not exactly, should be like salt, if anything. Maybe for this I can use instead, because we don't want it, we want this to be smaller. So yeah, that'll do. And if we bring this down, for the roughness, it's going to be pretty much totally rough except a little specular for like the little salts or sugars, whatever that is. I guess it's been a while since I had gingerbread. Yeah, I should done my research and had some gingerbread beforehand, but yeah. I don't know, it's kind of a last minute idea. I was like, oh yeah, I should try making that nice, and because I want to keep these streams nice and simple, so that, like, you have something finished by the end to look at. So yeah, I'm liking that. Yeah, let's start adding more interesting things. So could add a candy cane. So let's isolate this Bezier curve, and real quick, just if I rotate this, you know, there's the candy cane. There we have it. 5-second tutorial. Make that curve smaller. Scale it in, rotate it, and geometry. Like that. Let's go to wireframe so we can see how much geometry we're leaving ourselves with. I'll bring this out, and then that's better. Candy canes kind of angle out a little bit. Here, it's like out here. Yeah, like that. And then yeah, let's rotate it so it's upright. And then object convert to mesh. And yeah, so now we have mesh, and let's fill the caps just like that. Just F to fill. And that's flat, so we don't really need to worry about connecting the topology. We're not going to really be using it that much. But if I go into the let's next thing is to get these stripes on here. So I'm gonna create a new material with the UV editor, so we can see how the curve's laid out. So this is how it's wrapped. If I use, so I'm gonna use UV's color ramp, and then constant, and then red. So let's go into material preview so we can see what we have here. Oh yeah, and let's separate XYZ. So UV map gives you a gradient, and these outputs will give you one of the gradients because they're separated into XYZ, or red, green, and blue, which you can see how that corresponds right here. Blue, yellow, blue, green, red, you see? So yeah, so we want the yellow output, so that'll run all the way down there. And I run it into here, we're just reassigning those colors, and this constant setting gives it a sharp value. And yeah, so bring down the saturation to make it more white. And yeah, so we're just kind of figuring out one more red one, one more white one, and we'll be pretty good. Yeah, and it always makes a copy to the left of whichever one you have selected. For some reason, that's what the setting is. So that's what I have there, and then I can use a vector rotate just to, you see it's kind of rotated just slightly. So that'll work well, and let's repeat it just once. So I'm going to use multiply and then a modulo. So modulo repeats it after up to a certain point. So if it's like 0.5, it's up to 0.5, and then it repeats again. So we want to adjust the range with this, so multiply. So notice that kind of made it so that's repeating twice with this combination right here. And yeah, so it's pretty big. And let's, okay, I'm going to put the origin point at the base right here. So Shift S can move your 3D cursor. That menu is pretty helpful. And set origin to 3D cursor. I'm going to give it a shortcut, Control Shift, Control Alt C. So now let's start there, and then we can just bring this out to the front. It's a bit much, right? So if we go back to this building, it had these columns here. I'd like to use that for the candy cane. But yeah, again, this is still too big for what I want, so let's just scale it down. I like to do that in edit mode instead of object, because doing it in object mode kind of affects the way edit mode will behave, because the way you edit it is affected by like the size, rotation, and scale. I'm gonna copy this, and then with face selected, we can just use median, so it'll snap to that origin. Yeah, so kind of like that, and then yeah, let's bring this down. So do it this way. RX. Let's try 235. Negative 235. We can just toggle that with minus. So it's a really handy thing for just entering things in. Wish more programs had it. And yeah, so that'll make our railings. It looks like we're going a little candy cane crazy right now, but I think there will be more stuff to make it to add. It's gonna get crazier and crazier, hopefully. So if I'm doing this right, so and we could just a quick and dirty add some softness to this. Let's add a bevel. So there must be a try using angle. Limit. Clamp overlap is what's preventing that. Let's see if there's some weird behavior here. So no, this section, the stairway is its own or I guess we did attach that, and then I'm fine with that. I mean, when you make these, there's kind of an awkwardness to it. You see here, there's like this flat edge because the gingerbread's just glued to that side, so you're revealing the inside of the gingerbread, which isn't as polished. So yeah, let's look at this in solid mode, see what we like and don't. So yeah, we're gonna get that with the bevel if we don't have a limit. So but there's not. Pretty much most of this is a right angle, so not gonna have much of a reason not to do that. Sorry, to separate that, just remove it from this one, since that's just especially messy. And up here, this is because we did this extrude manifold thing right here. So we want to add another loop to cut and connect this here. So if I turn on snapping and then vertex and then GY, or yeah, I guess we could just at last. So now these are snapped together. So now we don't have that shading issue up there. And yeah, and we can increase the number of segments, soften it up. Yeah. So let's make some gumdrops. Quickest way to do that, what do you think? Just like basic circle. And we'll only need like 8, and then we could like subdivide them if we wanted to. That's enough to control the curvature right there for the scale that they're going to appear. So bevel, it still has that step fall off. So let's turn it back on this super ellipse, and I only need one of these, yeah, the flat parts again don't matter so much. If we do subdivide it, like maybe it's nice to have a good resolution there, which in that case grid fill is good for that. And that's why I always keep an even number of edges. So right here we have 8 around on the circle. And clearly, yeah, this is too big. I'm going to apply the scale right now. Don't worry, I'll fix it. Well, actually not right now. I'm just going to add one more thing here. And then let's just scale that in, bring this down, and yeah. When I scale it down, I don't want to get tripped up with the weird so if I go to item, you can see this is irregular. That can kind of mess things up. So Control A to apply scale right there. And then if we could subdivide this, so Control 2, probably only needs one subdivision level, then shade smooth. Yeah, and then we can put them up here. So Y, and then turn off snapping, Shift R a bunch of times, and then select all linked data, Shift L, object data, and Alt D X, and then bring it over there. And yeah, so now we have a nice path, just like in the picture, right? And let's see. So let's go ahead and shade these. And we might use these some other places as well. I've seen some of these have like on the roof right there. That's kind of interesting. Maybe I can work with this one because I think there's going to be some similar aspects of it. So I just made another instance of that, so gumdrops. I haven't really been naming this or anything here, so kind of a messy scene, but trying to do this quick, right? So yeah, and because this is a new instance, if I change this, we will get different colors. I'm first going to make it something really saturated and really bright. Just get the right color palette clear. This isn't the whole same like reflection we want. There's like some subsurface that kind of makes it feel kind of gummy. But we want each of these to be a random color, and we can do that with Shift A input geometry node. And if I use the random output, normal incoming parametric. No. Object info, excuse me. Got those two nodes confused. So if I use CH and plug this into this as the original color, and then plug random into the hue, we can have random colors. And this isn't totally the values that we're going to want for this. So we could instead just let's experiment with this variation here. Well, this isn't being sampled, so let's see. Okay. And now if we plug that into there, then we get that. Hey DSL, welcome back. Good to be back. Turn that down. See, it's kind of fuzzy down here, but we're not going to notice that in a final render. So, we could actually, to control all these colors, instead of using this hue saturation basing off of this color ramp, I'm going to use, so the random output here, NO, and then just get some of these colors in here. Long time no see, how are you? How'd gifts making go? Yeah, I'm good. They're still working on my brothers. I'm making like a small driving game for them, and I've kind of been. It's been kind of hard to make because it's like I want to make it perfect for them. So, some extra time with that, and then it's kind of a busy work time as well. So yeah, it's been pretty busy. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things, but yeah, there's a lot going on right now. It's like a lot of work, and which isn't a bad thing. And then just finalizing gifts, and because I had Christmas with my partner's family, and then and now I'm gonna go be with my family coming up. So yeah, but it's, we're being careful about that. Like, we're gonna get tested before we go, and yeah, and we're allowing for at least a long enough time period to get tested. So that's why we started early or whatever. So yeah, that's what's up. Oh, and right here, let's put this into actual shader, so not just a solid color. So if I look at this, and then turn this up right here. Yeah, it does. Yeah. We're gonna get tested for corona before we go, and we're really only seeing our family. And right now haven't really seen anybody. I haven't gone to the grocery store aside from just picking up stuff, and that's been pretty much the only time we've left the house. We can make this a bit softer, I think, with some subsurface. Yeah, the lockdown depends on the state. I think for example, in Wisconsin, last I heard there was a lockdown going on. Not where I am right now. So this actually affects the color, even though it says radius, which is pretty misleading. Yeah, but if we set that to like 1 or something, we give it a little bit more red. So that's the first one, RGB, right? Yeah, I think yeah, I don't want to, get too political or anything, but I mean, I think it really shouldn't be. I mean, yeah, because I want to make this about modeling, so I want to be careful not to kind of stray away from, because I'm just not an expert, so might not, I guess it's interesting to get my opinion or something, but I think the vaccine, yeah, I think the only things that people question it for is like, oh, it came out really fast, and that's just because they're pushing it to get out. But I think it makes sense considering how much money's been pushed to get it done, and like there's just been a lot of support in that development, and like it takes time to get treatments out into the open, so I think it's only a good thing, and yeah, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. So, but yeah, anyway, so these gumdrops, we had the white spots, we kind of lost that here. Let's retrace our steps. So we have this variation introduced with the linear light, and then this saltiness. But yeah, we want to mix that right back in there. So use this mix node, and then screen, and then plug that in there. And Reverend Insanity. Okay. I'll look into it. It's yeah, sometimes it's hard to find time to sit down and read a book, but yeah, cool. So if I increase on this, yeah, and let's give it some subsurface. I think that's important for the gummy feel with this, and that's actually going to kind of be dependent on the color of it. But if you do have the same thing in here, you may as well just not have subsurface. So what you want to do is change it just slightly. So if I use this hues saturation value, plugged in subsurface radius, we'll get, just change this hue slightly. Is there sculpting January? Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, doing more challenges really helped a lot with getting people's attention. So yeah, that'd be really cool to do because I missed sculpting Sculptober. Kind of flows off the tongue more than Sculpt January, you know. But yeah, that'd be yeah, that'd be cool. You know, depends on. I'll definitely be doing more sculpting. I'll see what I can do. You know, just depends on like how busy I am with work, you know. But you know, I want to be consistent with this channel, but it's just kind of weird timing now with you know, it's just like you know, there's some other things I have to prioritize, like you know, family when you know, because it's kind of like a thing I do in my free time. So CG Boost sounds familiar. I haven't, but yeah, it'd be cool to do more challenges for sure. Oh, excuse me. Wow. Yeah. Let's add some bump on here as well, and that kind of affects the subsurface appearance as well. If we use something rough, we could use this small. Let's see, let it load. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's no, this. If I zoom out, maybe it's a little extreme. Oh, that's weird. 0.5. Brings it back to normal. Oh, that's nice. I think it's actually kind of like this whitish subsurface because it's kind of light. When sculpting anatomy, something like reference 30 figures on the desk or something like that. Yeah, 3D, having like a 3D figurine is really helpful. I mean, I'm always using PureRef right here. Yeah, even if in some of my time-lapse videos, if you don't see it on the screen, off screen, I am using reference, and there's really no limit to. There's so many different things you could draw from. Just you know, look up anatomy, but you know, also don't. You know, just take pictures from life, because if you just focus on anatomy, like some people are more than just muscles. Like there's you know fat that is essential for making things look natural. So that'd be yeah. I think that'd probably be useful to do another video on in my list of videos I have in mind. But yeah, that yeah. There's definitely you know some stuff that maybe I can't best explain right now with finding good reference, but so yeah, there's definitely good reference to yeah. Some what do you mean by caps? Looks pretty bad. I think that's close enough down there for that. And let's use more of these gum drops. I think let's make them a little bit taller. So the nice thing about them all being instances is I can change them all at a time. So if I update this one, I can just you know quick fix. And let's change this to lights and world, so I can go from cycles to EV. So quick preview right here. And let's actually give this put a ground on this thing. I don't know why I didn't do that sooner. So right here, and then scale. Let's do 10 times. Oh, put our 3D mouse in the center. Scale 10 times. And yeah, it's a bit much. Let's actually kind of make it on a table right here. So 0.5. So that's 5 times the scale. Um, oh yeah, you did. Yeah, 3 or something like that. Yeah, you did. um, Oblivion. What do I think? Why don't I remember? Like I read a lot of comics. Growing up, as I mentioned, but Oblivion, Marvel. Um, oh, okay. Oh, is he kind of like the Beyonder or Lady Death? Oh yeah, there's the Beyonder, right there. Because there's. Is he like a celestial or something? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Kind of a simple like cloak. There's a lot of characters with that kind of look, but yeah, he kind of has an interesting take on that. Here, even there's a little bit subsurface on this. Give it a little red. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. There's kind of like a yellowish, so yeah, that'll work there. And then skeleton with a big cape. Yeah, I mean that's a good idea for character design. I think I read in a book once. It was like, yeah, if you're designing a villain, you can give it the many like weird head shape, but also you could start with a skull and then go from there. Like that's kind of like if you think of Darth Vader or Doctor Doom, a lot of characters or like robots, their faces are based off of skulls, and it kind of gives them like kind of a freaky look, or if you take from nature, if you take from like animal skulls or something, you can end up with some pretty interesting stuff. So right here, let's add a little top to right here. So just extrude that up, and oh, that's so cute. Let's make it a little wider so it doesn't clip into itself because my current bevel settings. And then let's bring this across. And GX, turn on snap, shift tab, and let's add a little loop right here. GX. There. And then view, and then extrude. Yep. Because there was like the Red Skull in Infinity War was like black, big cape, skeleton, Doctor Doom. Let's see, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, Voldemort. It's funny. When I was visiting my girlfriend's family, we were watching Home Alone, and it'd been like 10 years since I had last seen that, so that was kind of amusing. Just like this loop around here, and then. Turn off snap. Alt S. That brings that up for some reason. But now it's like consistently around it. So, quick way to make a gutter, but it's consistent back there. Hey, Humongous Blaze, welcome back. Hey. Sorry, a long time no see. Let's see. What's the best way to... Yeah, well, the curve is different because the slope, I think, is kind of affecting that. Whatever. Let's just... So I copied that, and then let's extrude it. Alt S just brings it out, and then snap it to bring it down, and then I'll just kind of adjust these. I don't really need to be exact here. This is supposed to look handmade anyway, so. Told myself it'd only take an hour, and I think I've been going for about 45 minutes, so just letting you guys know. I'll be hopefully wrapping this pressure's on for the next 15 minutes. So, select linked with L, and then let's bring that down there. And then we're getting some weird stuff there, and that's because the normals are probably a little weird. So with all that selected, Shift N did not fix it. Oh, well, this is a little bit sharp, so that maybe that's messing things up. Okay, let's isolate that. So a little bit of debugging. So L to select link, invert selection, hide. So we can just look at this. And let's go into solid view. Let's try. Okay, fix normals worked that time. Not sure what changed, but yeah, all that debugging. But that's something you can do if something weird like that happens. Oh, yeah, and this could be, I was thinking this would be gingerbread cutting through it, but, which kind of makes sense if you're, like, stacking these in a practical way, but I think, yeah, icing would work well. Oh, and Eclipse, yeah, again, like, because of the bevel settings, it has to be a certain length. But if I make this %, that might be better. No, it's worse. Okay. Oh, interesting, and an undo doesn't change the... Huh. Okay, and then we gotta fix these settings. Oh man, I'm just making it, I'm just destroying it in my last 15 minutes. Yeah, but yeah, so we have that. We could bring all of this in with Alt S, just so, you know, we don't have too much overlapping. I'm gonna thin it out. Yeah, because I want, if it's icing, it should be like kind of coming off. It won't clip if it's too far. Yeah, so that's better. And let's bring this over here and bring this here. And then, wait, so yeah, if I take the, I'm going to select this, and then I'll bring this over here, and turn that, do I work for some kind of game company? I'm doing freelance right now, but I don't know if that was a question for Blaze. Yeah. Don't know if you guys saw well, I came out with 2 videos because I thought total beginner's video and then like something to solidify like somebody at any level with you know, going over brushes and then just quick start for sculpting. So curious if you guys thought what you guys' thoughts were on that. I know so you left a comment, so. Okay, pressure's on. Okay. Just trying to flatten this. Jeez. Where did I go wrong? You know what? I think that's okay. Well, let's make the material for that. Like we could strain that out, but it's frosting, right? It should be a little wobbly. We'll probably, maybe I'll remesh and then like sculpt with it or something. But yeah, you try to do some sculpting? That's great. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I hope those videos were helpful. Yeah, let's add materials, or let's make this a separate object if we might end up sculpting it. And then creating a new material, and we could just make the base color white and kind of that specular from the Voronoi down here plugged in the roughness. Looks like this. Might be kind of interesting for that. Give it some snowy texture. Or snowy, sugary texture. If I multiply this, Yeah, I collected things I knew and added. Yeah, I think that's kind of the. I could have done like things you don't know about brushes that sometimes I'll watch videos titled that just because it's like, well, how much do I actually? I think I know more than I think I do, but really they're just like it's a long list and like some of them I'll know and some of them I won't. So yeah, that's good to hear that there was stuff that was new and it kind of solidified the gap. So and yeah, that's what it was for. So perfect, nice. Yeah. So anyway, I could plug this in here. Just add more variation. Oh, it shades smooth as well. I don't need the yellow snow. I think that's from the subsurface here. So let's make that like 0.2 or something. RGB, so let's bring up the blue. But then, and some yellow. Oh, it's just a balancing act right there. And yeah, kind of like that. That's probably a bit much. But yeah, time constraints, priorities, right? So let's use the normal. Maybe I should just use the gumdrop material and then change that. So that's a little bit closer to what this is, but so I'm doing a similar thing. Yeah. You found that remesh is better for sculpting? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I find it much better for. Yeah, down on top you don't have to think about it as much. Maybe like you don't have to worry about running out of geometry, but then you can't sculpt as much detail. So it is kind of it's limiting if you only work in down on topo. But nice for just blocking things out. So they both have a place in Blender, but yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, and okay, I'm gonna copy this and then hide it, and then I'm gonna sculpt this. So Control R. Oh Jesus! Oh, because I have that modifier. So let's apply that. Control A. Sculpt mode. Remesh. Did it remesh it that fast? Oh yeah. Wow. Okay. Didn't even see it happen. Just kind of quickly creating variation, make it more naturally feeling. My middle mouse button is suddenly not working for Sculpt. Uh-oh. Whatever. Let's work with what I have. Let's use that rotate for some reason. Good thing I did that tutorial when I did. It's like randomly. I've been using it for like hours and suddenly it's probably not working. The middle mouse button or equivalent on my mouse. So yeah, this is especially nice if you have a tablet that doesn't have those buttons. So that's something, yeah. And people starting out, if you don't know navigation, like I think it's really nice to teach with these things. If I finish the sculpt, you'll post it somewhere. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, go for it. Okay, and then let's see. Coming along. Okay, let's see if we can. Let's try to texture paint this a little bit. Some articulations, make it more interesting in these last few minutes. Yeah, it'd be nice that maybe I'll just quickly add a tree, just really quickly. So I'll start with the circle. Yeah, that's fine. And then a skeleton, and then sculpt, and then remesh. Let's up the resolution, and we'll use this radial repetition. So change it to how about 8? really efficient. Don't even need to rotate in this case. And let's change the stroke to like, yeah, that, I'm sure. And, oh wait, I have to change the stroke again here. So, jitter. Change the fall off to sphere. Let's try using this jitter. And just quickly giving it like this weird texture, and let's just scale it down all sloppy like here. Maybe even like thin it out. So Shift S. Maybe even like a give these some variation. Kind of framing it a bit. Snapping tools will help place this faster if you set it to face. So, and then let's give all these materials. I think they're all they share the same data. So let's just quickly. This should be a pretty simple material. It's just clay. So saturation, Roy-G-Biv. So it's somewhere around there. And turn up the saturation, turn this down, and it's it's not perfect. They did a better job here. Yeah, if I zoom in, it's like, oh yeah. Turn up the roughness, a little bit of subsurface. Yeah, and then okay. 5 minutes to go. So let's focus on getting this UV map good so we can paint on this. If I use smart, if you project, there's some, it's going to be some waste of UV space to keep in mind, like this inner section. So I can delete these faces. You don't want to waste UV space, so delete stuff people won't see. Just looking at these dots for like extra face. Why are there faces right there? Yeah, I should know that, but why? But I just know that there are. I have to deal with them. So right here, I'm just the ideal way, but this is the quickest way. It's UV unwrap. It's not a perfect layout or whatever, but it's kind of optimized. The amount of space will keep in the right aspect ratio, which is nice. And so with this, I can use another principled shader and an image texture, and let's make this 1024 is good. That's a perfect name for it. Maybe I'll do a bit of video on actually naming conventions properly, but height, and then over here we want a mix shader, and then we'll be using this again, and then accept with a less than or greater than. So you have a sharp value right there. And it's funny. There are two versions of characters. There's the hyper realistic or the stylized. Not much in between. Or I guess that's what people go for, and then some style ends up coming out. Or so right now this is only going to give us one thing, and that's okay. Let's that image, and start painting on it. So texture paint. If we go to solid view, we can see what we're adding. I'm gonna take inspiration from like these articulations I really like. Like it's not gonna be exactly like this, but you know, expect this to be sort of a time constrained thing. Okay, let's get in a good view. We can just start painting. We're not gonna rotate around much. Okay, let's see the effect is on this. Okay, so we're getting a bit there. That's what we want. Okay, and then flip it. So let's use less than instead. It's compiling, I think. Yeah. So now we can have this, and we can just paint on it, which is super fun. Just like a Substance Painter, right? So. Trying to think what the size we want this to be is. If you don't want the perspective warming, we can go into orthographic. It's probably a better call. And you know, I'm kind of being a little sloppy on purpose right here. Just trying to give a character. It's totally not accident. Very intentional. Only joking. So yeah, I guess I could have just painted this on. But yeah, here. But see, it's going to be limited by your perspective. That's why orthographic is kind of helpful to use in the painting. Yeah, it's an interesting challenge using the gizmos, or like this navigation stuff over here. Kind of allows me to just focus on, once I get into a decent view, I can just start doing things. Hold on Control, I can erase, or it turns things black. Because there's two values. If you can toggle between them with X, or you can hold on Control while you brush. So now I'm painting with black because it's just showing my material setup. So this is what it really looks like, and this is what it's coming out as. Which is, pretty fun. Yeah, go for like optimized for games or something. Or, I mean, I think even if you're doing stylized stuff, I think it's helpful to take inspiration from life, because then you can make your own decisions on like how to simplify a character. Let's give it a little snowflake here. Do radius with pressure. So, yeah, that's a bit nicer. More control in the size. Yeah, what do you think isn't very clear? Like, what would you want more explained with sculpting? Other than like the sculpting tools, do you want to like learn like anatomy or what? Oh, 18. I went over time, didn't even realize. I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. Honest. let's quick do some spot checking. With this, I could have, maybe I should have painted with a different fall off, because right here I think it's showing that I used this curve, but it's probably better with this. Even though it's, actually this one would be good, sharp, because it kind of accumulates anyway, so if I was using a smooth fall off, it wouldn't look smooth in the end. I can also adjust down here the distance. To smooth it out. And clean up the edges at least. Hold on control there. I'm just drawing black around those edges. It doesn't look like it, but yeah, that's what's happening. And then it's just showing this because of the shading. Yeah, I actually learn a lot from ZBrush tutorials. I think yeah, it'd be nice to bring more of that information into Blender, sort of translating how you can achieve those things. Yeah, like realism. Yeah, you can see that's kind of what I'm sort of attempting in a lot of my videos. But, yeah, this is a kind of pretty crummy drawing, if I say so. There's something really appealing about like this classic window box. So maybe I'll just erase, just redraw this, and I should keep it simple. Shouldn't take long. So like, much better. And then let's add more gumdrops places. So if I snap to rotation, line rotation target, yeah. So Alt D. Why are these all green? These are randomly generated, and they gave me all green ones on that tree. That was totally random, but oh my god. But like really, like if Blender actually knew what it was doing, you know. That's why it's just a program, you know. Like that's why it's nothing without the artist. Yeah, kind of like Christmas lights. Okay, that was fun. I'm gonna do that again. Okay. But I just kind of line it up because it's gonna really show if I'm a little bit off. Just start clipping into each other. And then copy it once. And just Shift L, object data. Oh, but it's going to select all these ones down here. So Control, click, and then bring that up. I want to, oh yeah, so I'm going to just change this to active, RZZ, so it's relative to that the active selection right there. I think it just made this a lot better. Now it's hard to leave. Yeah, you can say your Instagram, yeah. Don't have a problem with that. But and then let's make this a little more interesting here. So let's subdivide this. It's better with a plane. You may as well just subdivide instead of remesh. Subdivide. Let's do like 12 times. Let's do 18. Let's do 24. Okay, and let's subdivide again. Yep. And again and again. Okay. Yeah, that's enough to sculpt. And, oh yeah, it's still in radial. Well, let's work with it a little bit. Radial is just kind of fun. Oh, it's like a snowflake. See a little bit better with matcap anyway. Oh yeah, and I still have jitter on. I forgot about that. So go back to stroke. Turn this down so it's not random. Yeah. That. Don't want it to seem like gross, so let's turn off this radial. Bring it down to 1, and yeah, just create some variation here. I mean, you don't find these on ears. Usually the ground's pretty flat, but it's covered in snow day. Oh, but I'm losing this part right here. So let's just Alt S, C select, so C key, and then to get out of this, Enter or Escape, and click the 3D cursor. Actually, go ahead, scale it from that origin. So that's, or yeah, the world origin. Shift S, world origin, and then with this, we're gonna have a smooth transition. So that'll make sure. Oh, yeah, 3D cursor. So it's scaling from the 3D cursor, and just enough. Yeah, it's an okay. That's kind of like that. It's cutting into that a little bit. Yeah. That's funny. And then, yeah, shade smooth. And then we had like a snow-like material, so let's adopt that. Is this the one? Let's take, nope. That is just the default material. And that is also the default. And this should be it. Okay. So yeah. Let's see, now I'm going to save this. Oh, that's my reference. Let's save that. And yeah, to render it quicker, we can go into, well, do I have a camera in here? Nope, I do now. And then, yeah, don't have much of a background in here. Make sure I just change these, so 1080, 1920. So now it's tall instead of short. Just kind of makes more sense for a tall house like this. And oh yeah, turn off snapping. Why is that still on? And yeah, we're getting this boardy or whatever, but and then we can, yeah, in the camera settings, under denoising, I'm going to change this in the viewport to open image denoise. You can do that for the render as well. But yeah, so now we have like this kind of hand painted thing, which is pretty cute. Yeah, mixed cycles, yeah, saves a lot of time on render. You're gonna lose some of these surface details, so you know, a lot of the stuff that I like spent time on, like those specular details, you know, is all lost here. But you can solve that by adjusting the sampling. So say start sample. Change that to like 16. Why not? 64. So now it's taking more time before it starts denoising it, so maybe we'll preserve some of the detail. No. Not really. Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, mission accomplished, I guess. Yeah. Good to have you guys. Good to reconnect. Thanks for always coming on. Thanks for all the great comments. Thanks for watching. Anybody else is just watching along, and yeah, cool. See you guys later, and gals. Bye bye.